Hey guys, Leo Perez here, bringing you the first YouTube video on this channel. The purpose of this channel is to document my experience in joining the U.S. military, specifically the U.S. Air Force, as well as trying to give you guys a little bit of insight on what that's like. I'm going to try to keep some of these things general so that it can apply to people just joining in general versus the Air Force, but at the same time, certain videos will be specifically targeted towards an Air Force audience, but some of the branches have things that are kind of mutually equal, I guess, across the board. Huge disclaimer I want to go ahead and throw out there right now is that these videos are going to be from my experience, things that happened to me while going in or while in. Now, things might be different for you going in, or things might have been different when you joined. I know people sometimes watch these videos even though they're already in, just to kind of see how things have changed. And things will change, they always do. So keep in mind that if you join, or if you already joined, the things that you went through or you're going to go through might not be exactly the way the things that I'm gonna talk about have gone into play, but I think it'll still serve a good purpose and giving you guys insight on how things go on in the military and what the process is like of actually joining. So first and foremost, I wrote a list down of the 4 steps I believe that are key in joining the military, whatever branch it might be. I wrote this down in this Air Force portfolio thing that they gave me. If you guys join, you'll get something similar in the freebie bag, which we'll learn about later. But the first step is choosing a branch. Now, in choosing a branch, you have to really research, I feel. Find out what you want to be a part of. Find out what the prerequisites are. I'm not sure if I'm saying that word right. You have to find out what the prerequisites are of that branch, what they look for in people, because something to keep in mind is that the military is looking for people that best suit their needs. And what that means is that if you don't meet their qualifications, there are only so many things that they can throw in a waiver for. Which waivers are things that, like, oh, you are temporarily disqualified for this or that. Well, we can throw this waiver in, and maybe the SG, or maybe somebody, SG is Surgeon General, maybe somebody can approve it, you know, a chief or some sort of thing. But not all waivers get approved, and not every single thing has a waiver. So do your research, find out what branch you want, find out why you want that branch, and make sure that that branch suits your needs as well and what you want to do. There's nothing worse than joining something that you later regret joining. So definitely do your research. You have all the time in the world. No one's pushing you to join. You know, you might be getting those recruiters on Facebook that are trying to get you to join, but it's okay. Take your time, make the best decision for you. Step number 2 is talking to a recruiter. Now, finding a good recruiter. All right, there's a lot of bad mouthing on recruiters, I feel, online, which some of it has reason, but some of it's just over the top, I believe. Find a good recruiter. Do your research on the recruiters. Go online. Go online. Everything is on the internet these days. Go online. Look at your closest recruiting station. Look at the office. Look at the reviews online and see what people are saying, you know. Now, realize that recruiters have to make a quota. So, yes, they are going to probably push you to join certain jobs, do certain things, because that's their job. They need to fill those slots. However, you're persistent enough and your recruiter is not really interested in you, then just find a new recruiter. You don't have to be rude about it. Be professional. You know, Sergeant, whatever, I need to go to a different office. Find a different recruiter. Be professional. Don't be rude. That's key. Just find a different recruiter. Or maybe you find out that because of the way you talk, because of what goes down with that recruiter of that certain branch, maybe you find out, oh, hey, guess what? Maybe that branch isn't for me. So maybe you should have done your research a little bit more in depth. But again, talk to your recruiter. Again, when you talk to your recruiter, you're gonna have to open up about everything. Again, I'm gonna take these steps and kind of make other videos about them, but just for a general idea, you have to tell your recruiter everything. Any sort of thing that's happened in your life, whether it be physical, like injuries, like scars, or just something that's out of the normal, something that's not the 9 to 5, you know, you go to school or you go to work, you come back, you eat dinner, whatever. Anything that's irregular that people would kind of either, I guess, frown upon, or just things that aren't normal, you know. Scars, they're not normal. You're not born with scars most of the time, I think. So things like that, you have to tell your recruiter. You're going to have to tell them every single place you've lived, every single place you've worked at. Give them references of all those places you've worked at. It's a huge process. Again, I'll make videos about this. It is worth it. It's worth it. It's going to take your time. It might seem kind of time consuming to you at the beginning. You'll be like, oh my God, I thought this was just like fill out a job application and we're good. No, it's not. Get your mind in that mindset that this is something different. This is huge because you're joining, basically you're working for the U.S. government, or not basically, you are working for the U.S. government. So this is going to take a while. Again, with that, people that I've known that have joined in like 3 weeks, that's kind of nuts. They probably spend 5 days a week in the recruiter's office because it takes time, okay? But yeah, step 2 is talking to a recruiter, finding the right recruiter. Find a recruiter that's going to work with you. Now, recruiters aren't pushovers by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But find one that will maybe go that extra mile to try and get you a job that you want. It might not be your #1 choice. Again, there's more in depth with this by me saying #1 choice. But you're going to list a minimum of 9. Get a recruiter that's going to get you one of those 9. Get a recruiter that's willing to work with you, but not work for you. Step number 3 is MEPS. Now, MEPS is what everybody fears. I feared it when I was going through. I was kind of just, I don't know, I was really nervous. I thought, you know, oh my God, I'm going to get disqualified because I have flat feet, because I do. But no, I wasn't. Like, I'm going to go more into depth because of that. They do this whole physical, complete physical, and you guys will know what I'm talking about when I make the video. It's not, if you're a guy, it's humiliating. If you're a girl, it's probably humiliating too. Let me not be sexist, but it's just humiliating across the board. But it's something you have to do, and it's just one of those things that you live, you learn, you grow, and it's what happens. As far as MEPS goes, your recruiter should give you a briefing as long as you're accepted with your application, as long as, you know, if you have any waivers, they're approved, or as long as if you don't have any waivers, then it should be a lot smoother. MEPS is the medical part of this. MEPS is very important. You have to pass MEPS. MEPS is kind of the bridge between your processing and you actually being in the DEP, which that's step number 4. Step number 4 is DEP. That stands for Delayed Entry Program. That is basically the little program you are in once you have cleared MEPS, once your application has submitted, once if you have any waivers they've cleared, if you have any sort of things that you need to do in order to have the waiver approved, or any sort of thing that you got temporarily DQ'd from at MEPS, which that's temporarily disqualified, and people always flip out about that. Oh, I got temporarily disqualified, I'm not going to be in. It's not certainly the case. It just means there are things that you have to do in order to further prove that you are qualified to be in the military. MEPS takes care of all that. But in the DEP, it's basically you're just sitting around waiting. Depending on your recruiter, you have things called DEP call, which are kind of like little meetings, gatherings with everybody that's in the DEP to come talk to the recruiter, see how everything is going. Depending on your recruiter, DEP calls might be different. I just had my first one last Saturday. It's actually May 22nd, so I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, but it's May 22nd. I had one last Saturday, which was pretty cool. I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, step number 4 is the DEP, and that is, you know, the 4 steps in actually joining. If you kind of want to think about it, I guess step number 5 could be basic training, because you do have to pass basic training to officially, you know, join, I guess. But I'm not there yet, so I can't really talk about that with experience. I guess I could just look online and tell you guys what people say online, but I'd rather show you guys or tell you guys about my experience, so that way is as accurate as it can be, coming from my own mouth, not from somebody else's. And again, this is all in 2019. You know, it's May, almost June. Yeah, I ship out in June. So I'll try to upload as many of these videos as I can. And yeah, that's it. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment section. I haven't really told anybody about this channel. I'm just kind of starting it just because I want to document. I want to kind of keep these videos to kind of see what my process is like, what my experience is like along the way, and you see how I grow. And I figured I'd make it public to kind of help out other people as well, which I think is pretty cool. Any questions you guys have, you guys can have someone that's really freshly in. I can kind of tell you guys what's going on. And yeah, that's it. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Later.